Hello friends, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Aiden Sits on the Floor and talks about tiny synthesizers. Today I'm going to take a closer look at the Bastl Kastles here, and more specifically how to make the most use of them in the context of other gear. And I'll go through some tips and tricks that I found after using these things for so long, and hopefully I can help add some more utility to your Bastl Kastle. I'd like to start with a word of warning for anyone who's not accustomed to the Bastl Kastle. The output, audio coming out of the Kastle, is extremely loud. As such, one of my top items to use with the Bastl Kastle in almost any context, especially when it's alone, just with headphones, is something really cheap. It's a headphone attenuator, just a little volume control knob so that you don't blow your ears out when you turn it on. Since I did that first time, I've been extremely careful to either run it through a mixer to attenuate it or to run it through a headphone attenuator. The second item that I find to be necessary to make the most of the Kastle is something like this. This one's made by Hosa, and it is a TRS to two TS connectors. So what you can do is you can plug this guy into the Kastle I/O port and then plug in two standard TS patch cables into that, which then allow you to interface with modular items much more easily. You can just plug in TS straight into the Kastle, but then you can't make use of the left and right going into the I/O connector there. Something I get a lot of questions about when I make Kastle videos, either here or on Instagram, is what's with the LED? I use LEDs to plug into the Kastle to create some new distortion of sorts. So I'll turn this up, you can hear what happens when I plug in the LED. Alright, since I've got both of these Kastles here together, both the original and the V1.5, I just wanted to take a couple of seconds to talk about the differences between the two. First off, the materials on these are a little different. The old one is more of a plasticky kind of maybe polycarbonate kind of pieces that snap together. You can see they are a little wiggly. This may be partially because I built this one from the DIY kit, but I think just the material on all of them is just like this. Whereas the V1.5 has a much sturdier feel to it. The panels really don't move at all. They're nicely stuck together. Another interesting thing is, if you look at the side-by-side here, the original one has shorter little potentiometers. Not really a big deal functionally, but I have to say the ones on the new one feel a lot nicer. They're smoother, they're less wiggly. On this guy, you got a little bit of play to them, and they kind of don't spin as smoothly. Another great updated item that they added to the Kastle V1.5 is the ability to plug it into micro USB in order to power it. And so you can see the power switch here just goes battery and USB. So I've got my little lithium-ion USB charger here. You can plug it in and see how much power it pulls. So we're looking at just 22 milliamps at this nominal voltage of about 5 volts, which is pretty low. So I presume if you've got a USB power setup, perhaps a whole set of synthesizers that can run on one of these big USB charge packs, you might have the ability to stop using these AA's altogether. And coincidentally, the battery here thinks that the current is too low to actually be doing anything, so it auto shuts off. There's another tip and trick I wanted to bring up here. As you can see, I've patched all 3 of my triangle LFO outs to my 3 pitch, timbre, and rate modulation patch points here. But what if I want a triangle LFO to also affect the wave shape? It looks like there's nowhere left to plug one in. However, because I've already electrically connected my triangle to these 3 over here, I can simply patch right in there and then into the wave shape. It's a little bit of a roundabout way to do it, but sometimes when it seems like you've run out of places to patch, there's a way around it, and you can still make the circuit you want to make. So now I've brought in the Zero Coast to patch these guys together. All you need is this TRS splitter, just makes things easy. The white one is plugged into the right channel and then goes to the pitch mod, and that corresponds to this white patch cable here. And then the black patch cable goes to the left and then down to my timbre mod, however you want to say it. So I'll patch these into the O-Coast. First, let's hear what it sounds like. Pretty boring sounding at the moment, but there we go. Now we got some intrigue. Get this patched over to the contour. Whoa. And then I'll just add a little LED here to my wave shape. Now we can make the Kastle be the master clock for whatever hardware we want to sequence downstream. So, same thing, I'm using the white channel going to the right I/O on the Kastle, and I will plug that into my sync. You can see the SQ-1 stopped sequencing. It thinks it's not getting a signal right now. So then I'll patch the right channel over to my square LFO. And now we're in sync. And here I can control the speed of the SQ-1 just as low, slow or fast as I want. And then while we're plugged in here, I may as well use it as a sequencer for the Kastle. So there, I've got it plugged into my timbre mod. Or I can plug it into the pitch. final item today is syncing the Kastle to the Pocket Operator. I did a previous video showing syncing the two devices using only an auxiliary cord, which I now know isn't the best idea, as the Pocket Operators prefer a lower voltage for their click track. So this is where the headphone attenuator comes in. So what I like to do is turn the headphone attenuator down all the way so that there be no audio coming through it, and patch that into the tonics input. Substitute your favorite pocket operator here, and the tonic then needs to go into sync mode 4 to allow it to accept a click track from an outside device. And then I just need to patch my I/O left channel is the sync channel to my square LFO, and I'll go ahead and patch the right channel to my oscillator so I can get audio through if I'm running a single headphone out of my tonic, for instance. So now I'll turn the volume up slowly, and you'll notice at a certain point when the volume gets high enough, the pocket operator will start syncing. There it is. You can see the little flashing PM there, and you can actually hear the audio coming out of the tonic now. And that is all Kastle audio. So now we're all synced. It's that easy, folks. I hope you enjoyed this demo today, and thank you for watching.
Wow.